this week? Well, here to talk with me about that is Will Kai, the co-founder of asset management firm Wilshire Phoenix. Will, welcome.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Before we get going, for the benefit of our viewers who may not be familiar with you and your work and your role at the firm, do you mind giving us a brief overview?
Of course, gladly. So myself and my co-founder, Bill Herman, we both worked at traditional finance before founding Wilshire Phoenix. I was a trader at JP Morgan for many years, over a decade, across different asset classes, equities, credit, and most recently, commodity futures. We both, and Bill Herman, he worked on large public transactions. So we both left around 2017, and then took a little bit of time off. And then we decided, hey, let's use our background and experience to working with institutional product and institutional investors, trying to bring our background and expertise to build products for retail investors. And we thought, ETF is a pretty good vehicle for either better institutional strategies or niche products. And our first attempt was actually a Bitcoin and crypto, a Bitcoin ETF. It wasn't a straight spot Bitcoin ETF. We're actually trying to give an algorithmic component to it. It rebalances on a monthly basis between Bitcoin and T-bills. So the goal was trying to reduce overall volatility of the investment product. We thought maybe that's an angle that can get SEC more comfortable for such volatile product as Bitcoin. So this was in 2018, 19, and at the end in early 2020, our ETF was disapproved along with all the Bitcoin ETFs back then at the SEC under Chairman Clayton. We found out no matter how much we innovated and what kind of legal analysis and data analysis we did, there was just too much institutional resistance at approving a spot Bitcoin ETF. Then we waited as everyone else to see what happens with the election and how the SEC, the commission would change and evolve. So we were glad, as everyone, to hear that Chairman Gensler was elected. And however, unlike almost everyone who thought, he taught blockchain and crypto at MIT, he's going to be crypto friendly, all is well. I was trading commodity futures when and Chairman Gensler was head of CFTC. It was a similar story. Before he became head of the CFTC, everyone thought, he's an ex-Goldman banker, for business, it's going to be great. Not quite right. He came in and he really regulated. He was fair, but he was pretty, he went after people, bad actors, and really established a lot of rules. So we thought at Wilshire, floodgate is not going to open for crypto. He's going to come in. Now he's the chairman of the most powerful regulator in the world. He's going to regulate. So we did not refile our application like pretty much everyone else. Instead, we went a different route. That's the result of our current product, which is under SEC review, the WShares Bitcoin Fund. It's not going to be an ETF. We hope to when it launches to address a lot of most of the deficiencies that's currently out there in the market products.
Yeah.
So that's Wilshire and what we're currently up to.
So I'm just curious, you mentioned deficiencies. What do you see as deficient in the marketplace now?
Yeah, so it's actually not a real dig at the current market participants or the products, because there really wasn't any. And you have to create something to get something to the investors. If they weren't there, investors would have no options, right? However, some of them have, for example, the futures ETF, right? Those are approved, but it's not based on spot Bitcoin. It's based on a derivative of Bitcoin. Futures, traded commodity futures, you can have all kinds of issues with backwardation, contango, and futures just moving away, premium discount to the spot. There's automatic tracking error to it. And if there's backwardation, you have a bleed, negative drag on the ETF just over time. And other product out there that has premium discount because they don't have an intrinsic arbitrage mechanism like the ETF, which is why everyone's looking for an ETF. And because of the lack of the arbitrage mechanism, goes premium and discount, and investors, even if Bitcoin price doesn't move, they're subject to the kind of the volatility of the premium discount, and that's not what the investors should be really should be exposed to.
Yeah. I I recently wrote about defined outcome or buffer ETFs. I'm curious whether there's a role to play for such things in the world of Bitcoin ETFs.
Yes, definitely. I think there's so much white space in the crypto space overall, and even here in investable products, right? Look, ETF is going to be really should have been the first step for investors. It's a shame that SEC currently hasn't allowed that to happen, but we think it is going to happen. And once Bitcoin spot Bitcoin ETF does happen, it then opens the door to the next level products.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of the strategies, even what we're attempting to do, trying to lower the volatility of a Bitcoin investment strategy, that could make sense too. And combining Bitcoin potentially with other products, and to where you alluded to, different strategy that can be applied upon the different crypto tokens. Those all make sense. We're just trying to get to that first step of spot Bitcoin ETF, and prior to that, if that's in our thinking, probably not going to happen in a year or two. So we're hoping our product, the Wilshire Bitcoin Fund, when it launches, should, at least in the interim before spot ETF, Bitcoin ETFs are approved, to kind of satisfy investor demand in a product that has some of the features that are better than what's currently out there.
Yeah. So I want to talk more about the firm and some of your other products in the line, the gold ETF. But in preparation for our talk today, I was doing some research, and I came across a quote where you had argued that Bitcoin may not be the future of the cryptocurrency industry. Talk more about that.
Yes, that was my statement. Sort of got converted into a clickbait.
Fair.
Unfortunately, what I actually had meant and described through the article was that Bitcoin, its price might not be the bellwether. It might still see where other prices are moving, but it does not show, or it's a leading indicator of where developments are within the crypto universe, right? It's what I was also pointing to is, potentially a metric to look at is where the developers are moving, where the coders are moving, and look on maybe GitHub to see where the number of lines of codes are. So these will automatically point to some of the ecosystem blockchains, Ethereum, Solana, and you see more of the coding and developer heading there, because there's also application on top of that, right? All the DeFi applications and so forth. So my view wasn't so much that Bitcoin isn't the future, but there's a lot of growth area that can be better defined, not looking at Bitcoin price, but looking at some of the other metrics within the crypto space.
Yeah. So let's go back to the firm. There, you have a gold ETF. Tell us one about that, and two, also part of the mission of your firm is centered around philanthropy. Talk more about that too. Both those things.
Yes, of course. So maybe I hit on philanthropy first. I mean, this is always important to us, right? Especially, it kind of jives with our intent to coming from large institutions and working with large institutional players. We thought to create a product that's suited and better for filling some of the gap for retail investors. So this philanthropy efforts, it's similar. Look, we want to give back to the community. We just don't want to kind of baking features and baking structure the hell out of the different products, and trying to baking fees and expenses into the product. We want to give back. So the principle of philanthropy kind of jives with our overall goal of helping retail investors, helping investors overall to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And then to your question on our gold product. So while we waited to see who's going to how the SEC is going to change, who's going to win the election, we thought, hey, let's do something different. Let's actually launch a product, get it approved to the SEC. So what we did was a algorithmic physical gold ETF. So we actually learned quite a bit by getting that through the approval process with SEC, combined with our prior experience with the disapproved ETF. That gave us a lot of insights to how SEC are looking at different things, how they view different futures and regulations. So they're helping us in our current process with the Bitcoin product. But the gold product, it has a similar concept as what we're trying to do with Bitcoin. But instead of combining with T-bills, it allocates between physical gold and cash algorithmically on a monthly basis. It tries to reduce the volatility of a gold investment, but at the same time, outperform not just risk-adjusted returns and absolute return terms. How it does that is it basically underweights gold when it detects environment that's usually when gold is in a downturn. So it underweights, so it loses less than gold. So over a longer term, it actually outperforms a standalone gold product.
Right. So part of the firm's mission is to launch innovative products. You anticipate things on the horizon, I don't know, liquid alts or private equity or private debt or other things of that nature?
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of cool stuff that we're thinking about in our pipeline. But we also, when our Bitcoin product gets approved, if I don't want to get ahead of the SEC, yeah, open up doors to other crypto products as well. So I think there's some low-hanging fruit within the crypto space, and we are very, very excited about the crypto space overall. Currently, supposedly, we are in this crypto winter. But I think there's a lot of there's some not so great news out there on different entities across the globe. I think it's a shakeout. Look, this is a new developing field. There's going to be up and downs, but the whole space will come out stronger. So we're pretty excited to look at opportunities within the crypto space for our pipeline of products.
Right. So anything else about the firm that we should talk about before we turn our attention to things that have happened in the news that caught your attention?
No, let's go into the exciting world of crypto.
All right. So let me start with you. Is there anything that's sort of top of mind that has happened in recent days or weeks that our viewers need to know about?
Look, there's the let's talk about some of the bad things and not so great things, right? You have Celsius freezing their withdrawals. You have Three Arrow, the biggest crypto funds out there in Singapore, not doing so well. And a while back, you have the stable coin having, the Korean based stable coin having issues and imploding. People ask me, are these events significant, right? And my answer has been nuanced. It's if they are and they aren't. And what I mean by that is, maybe take stablecoin, for example, right? Lunar and USDT. They it was 60. I think it was $60 billion valuation that was wiped away. And 60 billion is not a small number. I think that's actually bigger than 70 or 75% of companies in S&P 500, right? So it's significant number, and people lost money, and so it is significant. And I think the significance of it is hopefully it drives the regulators to push them, whether it's the regulators themselves or Congress, to push action to have a better regulatory framework. So it is significant in that sense. Yet I say it's not in the way that, this is new technology. People are building new things. Things are going to fail, especially products that has done pretty stable and done well in times of calm, right? But then when there are market stress situations, things are going to fail. Lehman Brothers fail. Good companies, sometimes they go down, right. And it not only does it shake out some of the weaknesses in the space, it also pushes people to innovate better. The second iteration and next iteration to create better products. So it's not as significant in that sense. I think it makes the entire crypto space stronger than before.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, as you think about the shakeout and the thousands of coins, tokens that are out there, some will survive and some won't. Any thoughts about who's the fittest among them?
Sure. It's interesting. Look, Bitcoin has really survived the test of time, right? Even though time to Bitcoin is still pretty short, but in crypto world, it's the longest. This is potentially contrary to some of the crypto or even Bitcoin purists who say. To me, I'll be concerned if the entire crypto space is based on Bitcoin and its copies, right? Whether it's Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin or like Dogecoin. To me, I'm glad that the crypto space is not just Bitcoin, but has these ecosystem blockchains that I was mentioning before, Ethereum, Solana, and blockchains and apps built on top of it, DeFi. We could talk about NFTs in a bit. But you have innovations upon innovations, and that's what's cool about the crypto space. There's always new tokens at different levels, not just the payment, but some of them are utility tokens, some of them are stable coin. It's degrees to the entire crypto space. Through innovation, there are going to be tokens that don't work and will fall to the wayside. It's not easy to pick winner or losers. I mean, just look at internet stocks, right? 20 years ago, you'd be so many firms has just disappeared. Yet at the time when they were hot, it's hard to imagine for them to disappear. So things will evolve. This is the nature of new technology.
Yeah, you mentioned regulations. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about a major investment firm plans to offer crypto inside 401k plans to plan participants, contrary to perhaps the wishes of the Labor Department. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, look, it's hard to stop crypto. Actually, even the naysayers. You have a lot of prominent naysayers, but crypto is here to stay. Not just Bitcoin, but all the technology I'm talking about, and I think it benefits the U.S. The country and economy as a whole if we have a robust framework of crypto regulations. I really do think regulations. I think this is now commonly accepted in the crypto space that regulations is necessary. As much you have decentralized ideas and constructs within blockchain, within this crypto, we live in societies. Within society, there are governments, right? It's very difficult to totally disassociate yourself or your investments from these central governments. And these central governments, done right with the proper regulation, should foster innovation. When there's no regulation, when it's a free-for-all, bad actors a lot of times really thrive, right? Yeah. That's why we have IP, intellectual property, we have IP laws, we have protections, we have patents, right? All this isn't to restrict innovation and economic activity. It actually fosters it. Yeah. So I really think, 401k, whether it's 401k or stable coins or CBDC, we, as a country, we shouldn't be left behind. And I hope the regulators and legislators really get together to have a overarching framework on these different things. So yeah, it'll be good for the country and good for the economy.
So I feel like I'm stepping from stone to stone. You mentioned how this could benefit countries. I was reading in The Economist recently about El Salvador, and The Economist refers to their experiment as a costly flop. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, it is difficult. Just like companies and let's say funds or users trying to integrate crypto into their universe, sometimes it doesn't go as well. And I think for smaller countries that potentially takes that jump too quickly, there are drawbacks, and it is an experiment. So in my mind, what's more potentially critical in the sovereign level, right, for the countries is CBDC. Sure, they're not true cryptos because they're not decentralized. They're centralized crypto tokens, but I think they would play a very strong role in terms of global finance. I think as a whole, U.S. should really help coming up with legislation that foster the development of CBDC and not be left behind. If you look at China, they have it's somewhat under the radar because you don't see it reported that much, but it's really been they've been testing it out for quite a few months now. I believe in the Olympics, they really were using trialing the CBDC, and there's quite a few large transactions or transaction volume that went through. So, CBDC, just like CBDC and just like any crypto tokens or tools can be used for good, or I won't say evil, but less good. But we as the US, we shouldn't be left behind creating our own version of CBDC and establish its use in the global arena. I think that's definitely important in terms of the sovereign use of crypto and blockchain.
So we mentioned, I think, the phrase non-fungible token a second ago. Two things that have caught my attention of late. One is that there was a recent auction that went reasonably well, all things considered, for NFTs. And the second is Bill Gates was quoted recently as saying that crypto or NFTs are based on the greater fool theory, and that digital images of monkey are, as he said this sarcastically, are going to improve the world immensely, which obviously means it's not. Your take on NFTs, what's going on in the world there?
Yeah, no, of course. So I wouldn't deny there has been hype and probably a correction that's well deserved in the world of NFTs. Things got too big, too quickly, too fast, but it's a cool concept. I really think it is a proper use of blockchain, because people would say, right, blockchain is going to solve everything. No, that's definitely not true. There are a lot of situations where blockchain is not the solution. Don't force on it. But NFTs, it is a cool concept. And look, currently it's been used on art, right, on different digital creations. But there's similar uses of tokenization and digitalization of media rights, of real estate. There's similar concepts of tying something into the blockchain arena. Art in itself is already kind of, I don't understand too much of art, but it's, yes, maybe these monkeys are not going to save the world, but it brings pleasure to people, right? I'm not going to discount it. I think it's, compare NFTs or these monkeys, for monkeys to, let's say, to Dogecoin. I think it has value. But let's see how I think NFTs are here to stay, and they do have value. Sure, currently going through a correction, but that's I think, to me, it's expected. I think it has legs to stick around, and people enjoy them.
Yeah. So another bit of recent news is that a group of North Korean hackers are believed to be behind a $100 million heist of the blockchain Harmony, which tracks stolen cryptocurrency. Any views on that?
Yeah, that's it is unfortunate, given the decentralized manner of the tokens and different blockchains or exchanges, and the bad actors in the world. I think these things are going to be inevitable.
Yeah.
I think these things are what I take positive away from these things is, look, 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, each hack would really impact the price of Bitcoin or crypto, right? Or similarly, maybe you can bring up, Elon Musk. When he tweets, it currently still impacts the crypto. But through time, what I find is that their impact is getting less and less. Not that people are ignoring them, but just the field, the space is getting so large and so accepted that these are no longer real major events as they shouldn't be, right? I mean, I think the day when no matter what Elon says, Bitcoin is not going to move a percent or BIP, then that's going to be a huge milestone in the development of crypto. But coming back to bad actors, yeah, it's a shame. I think we will continue to see hackers to steal money and destroy property, but it's unavoidable, unfortunately.
Yeah. One other thing that's top of mind for me, at least in the world of crypto, is what's going on with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and crypto being sent to Ukraine to fund the war, but also crypto being used perhaps to get around the oil embargo. Any reaction to that?
Yeah, I think my view, I think it's probably held by a lot of people, is that crypto is a tool, right? Just like US dollar is a tool. It's, if it wasn't for crypto, it could be US dollars. That's or a better example, right? Like drug trade. Everyone's using dollars. Well, are you gonna destroy US dollars just because all the drug dealers are using it? Or claim that, oh my God, Bitcoin uses so much energy. Yes, it does. Maybe we can do better, right? Maybe we can move some of the tokens into proof of work instead of proof of stake instead of proof of work. But think about how much security is spent on dollar, on US dollar, on currencies. Think about the banks, securities. Think about the computer security. All that costs, just because you don't see it, just because it's not easy to calculate, doesn't mean that there isn't a cost to it. Right? So I think people like to concentrate on a few different features because it's easy to say, oh my God, this is happening, or this is being used by the Russian to evade it, and it must be bad. And I think that's not quite true how the world works. And I believe, yeah, I think more regulation can help with that as well. Yeah, bringing some of these instruments into full of regulatory framework and monitor.
So I threw a lot of bad news at you. What sort of good news is there in your world?
Yes, I think, well, the good thing about is most people in crypto seems to me, naturally optimists. So we're always optimistic. And I think it's the crypto field does deserve it. There's a lot of innovation, even in these downturns. The technology is still being built underneath. People are still innovating. Smart people, and a lot of my ex-colleagues that went from traditional finance into crypto, they're still there. They're building things, innovating, trying to come up ways to use new technology and bring benefit to users and investors. So I'm optimistic that when we recover, and what's more interesting about this, if we are in the crypto winter, right? It is a bit different from the prior crypto winters in the sense that the crypto field is very much now space integrated to our world and to the different markets. It's really taking cues from other risky assets, for S&P 500, right? So people say, oh my God, the correlation is so correlated, we have to decorrelation, right? Like, yes, currently you lose in these risk off or maybe risk on in strong environments, it's going to follow. But to me, it's almost a maturation of the space. It's not in its own siloing, right? It's almost accepted. It's taking signal from mature, large markets. So this crypto winter, it's taking strong signals from the overall market. If we actually go into a recession and equity markets collapse, I think the crypto winter is going to last for a while as well. Yeah. But if the economic conditions improve and equities rise out of their current correction area, I think crypto will follow quickly. I'm pretty optimistic about that.
Yeah, it's interesting that I was just reading a piece of research from a company called Logica, and what they're showing is that there's already great interest in crypto and also emerging interest in crypto, both on the part of the investor and the advisor who might be advising clients about their portfolios.
Absolutely. No, it's crypto is not going away.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. Anything we missed or anything that just bears re-emphasizing before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered a lot of space. It was a pleasure talking to you, Bob.
Thank you so much, Will, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with our viewers. It's greatly appreciated.
My pleasure. Thanks.